do you think is the worst Mythic skin? If I had to pick right now, probably either the Orisa one. Probably the Orisa one if I had... Wait, what do we got? It's Queen, Genji, Kiri, oh, or Ana. Ana or Orisa, but probably Orisa. Hanzo for sure? I don't know if I'd say Hanzo for sure. Hanzo bottom 3 for sure. Sigma, you're crazy if you think Sigma. Sigma's is good. You know, maybe we'll do a tier list at some point. We'll do a Mythic skin tier list. Is there a tier list for Mythic skins? Is there one? Chat, if there's a template that already exists, fine. But you guys gotta find it in the next like 2 minutes. Otherwise I'm moving on. Alright, I didn't plan on doing this today. I did not plan on this at all. But chat, we kind of got into I got an interesting question about Mythics. And I figured out this is actually a lot harder than I thought. This is actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. So I'm just going to go through and rank them. And I think there's some easy ones. For example, what is the worst? And I think that's very simple. We all know what it is. It's Orisa. I mean, to be fair, I don't think the Orisa skin is terrible. Like, as a skin, it's good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay. But as a Mythic, it's like, like not really any options. Just a couple different colors. There's like 1 or 2 color schemes that look good. The other 2 look kind of shit. There's no options for like anything, and it's just noise. You know what I mean? And if I've learned anything so far in Overwatch, is it's be careful what you wish for. Because I remember back in the day, I would talk about, it's like, I can't wait till someday we get a lot of like cool weapon skins and stuff like that that like make different noises, right? Like Valorant, right? Like, you know, you get certain kills, certain guns in Valorant, or you have like certain things, like there's like ones where like you can play as like a little little joystick, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I was like, man, that's cool. You gotta be careful what you wish for though, because now we have the Zen. I think a couple of my neighbors are arguing. I gotta get the out of here, chat. Anyways, the Zen skin, the duck one, it's so loud. The squeak, 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 squeak. And I think they've toned it back, but man, it's annoying. I like the skin. I still use it, but man, it's annoying. But yeah, so bad is Orisa. And I think Orisa is the only one that's going to be a bad tier for me. But next up, what I would consider probably the second worst is Ana. I know there's a lot of people that like the Ana skin, but I will give you my reasoning. The reason why I don't like Ana's skin is because I'm just not a fan of the Omnic. Is it Omnic? What is the Null Sector theme, right? I've always kind of believed that the Null Sector thing being like super Overwatch like was like just like I mean okay, let's be honest, what it is a made up enemy for the game, right? It's a made up enemy, and they've never been fleshed out, and like we never got a story of like the fight between them. Like, we just know it existed, and then we've got like random stuff that got dropped, like for example the missions, and like the second mission you have the ominous voice that's talking. You're like, oh my god, who is that? It's Ramattra. We all know who it is. And it was like, you know, you probably, when that was being made, that mission was supposed to drop before Ramattra, because we found out later that Malga was originally supposed to be season 2, and then they switched it and went with Ramattra instead, which, by the way, good call, because if Malga was the second hero of this game, oh man, we would have been, I guess it would have been 4th, but you know what I mean. Anyways, Kiriko's technically launch. So like we already knew, like the story with Null Sector has always just been kind of shit to me. I like the story, I like the lore, I think they should do more cinematics and stuff like that. But like personally, I don't like the theme, and so the Ana skin for me, because of that, never really hit. I know there's some cool noises, I know there's cool customizations, ain't for me. But also, and unfortunately falls victim to better skin syndrome, is the Hanzo Mythic. The Hanzo Mythic, I think was still good, but unfortunately is mid compared to the Valentine's Day skin. The Valentine's Day skin is so good. Best skin, arguably one of the best skins they've ever made. When a character has skins that are so much better than the ones than the Mythic, I feel like the Mythic ends up falling behind a little bit. you know? It is what it is. That's kind of unfortunate, at least to me. But there wasn't also customizations. Yeah, there's cool colors, like the color schemes were cool, but the bow isn't really like having much. And like, let's be honest with ourselves, there wasn't much for them to work with Hanzo, right? There wasn't much to work with in terms of options. But this is my clear bottom 3 for me. This is my clear bottom 3. From here on out, it gets pretty tough. I lied. There's still one more that is still slightly easy, but it's not going to be in the mid tier. It's going to go in the good tier, and it'll be Tracer. If you remember, Tracer was the season they experimented with giving you the Mythic early, but like, you didn't have all the options, so you had like the shitty version, and then you got like upgrades, quote unquote, as the season went on. But like the Tracer skin's good. I like it. But unfortunately, though, I think because of the way they did it, it felt watered down. And even though I originally liked it a lot, I don't remember that season being like super exciting for getting the Mythic. Maybe it's just me, you know? Because I also wasn't enjoying Overwatch very much in Season 5. That was like the support power creep, going to the moon and stuff like that. And also was thinking about quitting the game at that point. Remember, if you don't remember that. So that season just wasn't hitting for me. At all. Still good skin, but you know, someone's gotta be on the bottom, and unfortunately it's Tracer. I gotta be more careful with my phrasing. Let's forget I said that. Let's move on. Okay, let's move on. This is where it gets hard. There's one that I think, there's two that I think are top tier, and then the other 3 really fight for third. But I don't know where. I guess I could technically put them all in the same one. But you know what? I'm going to do it like this, okay? From left to right is better than right, but they're still the same tier to me. Does that make sense? So let's do my 3 first, and then I'll rearrange them. First up would be Genji, the original Mythic. Genji was really good. And shocked us all. The shock value of the Genji skin was insane. We were all like, holy customizations, crazy, the shurikens, the blade, the noises, like the robotic demonic voice of like the pulling out the dragon blade. It's like, oh my god, it's so cool. You know what I mean? That was insane. And I think it's still, the shock value is insane, and it still hits. It still hits the same way. But Genji also, as time has gone on, I feel like it's still really good. But like, there's just been better ones that have come out, right? And we'll get to those in a minute. But by no means do I want to say the Genji skin's bad. That's why it's an A. But gotta go in order somewhere. Genji's is definitely fighting for third place in my heart. The other ones fighting for third place in my heart would be the Kiri skin. Kiri skin was the best skin for Kiri for a long time. I like the Terrible Tornado because I like One Punch Man, but at the same time, it like wasn't as good. It was like weird. It was like the nostalgia and fun factor of Terrible Tornado plus versus the Mythic. So it was like, oh, could you like, you know, have the cool cosplay skin, or you have the Mythic. The Mythic was realistically cooler, but it was the first like collab. So it was like, it had like a little bit, you know what I mean? And had something to it. I think as time went on though, the Mythic skin became better than the One Punch Man skin. So I would say it was the best one. And then we had the Le Seraphim collab, and now that's what I would probably say is the best one. So Kiri is still really good, but unfortunately Kiri is like the poster child of Overwatch 2. Sorry, Mercy, your days are over. It is now Kiri for sure. And if you don't believe me, if you went to BlizzCon this year, you would have seen that there were some divas, there were some Mercies, but there was a lot of Kiris. They were everywhere. So I think Kiri is going to continue to probably get good skins. And it's not like this skin, unfortunately, isn't like the lock in. It's always going to be God tier. So for me, ties for third. And the last one that ties for third with me would actually be Junker Queen. I think the Junker Queen skin was a little bit of a step down versus the Genji skin when it first came out. You know, it was like, oh, this is still really good. But like Genji skin felt better. So that hit a little bit. It was the first time, like, you know, we were all expecting like to one up. I wouldn't say it one-upped the Genji skin. I would say it was at best the same level, maybe a little bit lower. So that kind of hit it a little bit, like, ooh. but it was the first tank mythic, right? So the first tank mythic, you know, has a little special place. And unfortunately, there's a cool effect. I don't know if it's still in the game. Someone's gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong. It might not be still in the game. But if you're playing on like high or epic settings, if you carnage somebody, it would do a lightning bolt on them. Does that still do that? Or if you hit them with a knife? It does? See? That's sick. Unfortunately, I play on low settings and I never see it. I've actually never seen the effect in my life. I only remember it from the videos that came out when they showed off the skin. So for me, because of that, I don't get the full effects of the skin. So even though I love it, it's a great skin. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I wouldn't say it's my top tier. Out of the three, my ratings for these, I would say Queen is higher than Kiri. This is a tough one. I would say Kiri is slightly under Queen and Genji. I feel like I have to go off the old thinking of nostalgia and the effect that it had. Genji had slightly more impact than Queen did for me. Even though I use the Queen one more, but it's because I'm a tank player. But if I had to say which skin is better, might have to be Genji. And last but not least are the two god tiers. The first one being Sigma. The Sigma skin is, I feel like it's so slept on. It's so good. It's the best Sigma skin in the game. Don't get me wrong, Sigma has a lot of good skins, but I would say it's arguably the best skin in the game for Sigma, for sure. And one of the best mythics, if not the best mythic. There's so many combinations. You can go with like the captain look. You could go with the emperor look. There's so many different colors. Hell, you can go with the spiky orbs or the non-spiky orbs. There's just like, there's so much to them. I don't know what it is, but like, there's not like the customizations feel so, okay, let me jump in game. The customizations feel so different, right? And let me explain to you what I mean. It takes a second, okay? Let's look at Orisa. Orisa's customizations don't make her feel different. Doesn't feel different. It's just a different color. You know what I mean? The guns don't do anything. It's the same shit, just a different color. But with Sigma, you get a whole different person based on the helmets. You have like the general look. So like general with this color looks more like military style fatigue, like it's not called fatigues. I forget what it's called. Like the outfits. And then you can change this up. You can go like from like normal, like more conventional military look to a more like almost like a general look. This goes more general. And then you go even further. You can take the armor and go spiky and change the helmet. And now you look more like what could you say? Like more like a space pirate or more like a space psycho, you know what I mean? Like some kind of like, you know, crazy person that's like just bust out of like an insane asylum that's like a mad scientist, you know, like trying to take over the galaxy. Or you go this route, which is like the more emperor route. And so you go, instead of just like a captain, you're trying to like literally take over the galaxy. And you go this or this. And both of these kind of work. Like these ones work really well with it. These ones work really well with it. And hell, like you can even mix and match a little bit here, and it goes from like super mad scientist to more like, I don't know, more sophisticated mad scientists. The balls don't change a whole ton, but like if you really wanted to go like the whole like general look, I feel like this looks more like clean than opposed to like the spiky balls. But everyone chooses the spiky balls. That's awesome, right? Let's admit. But like because of that, there's so many different combinations you can quote unquote make. I have to give him S tier. Like it doesn't feel right not to, you know? But balls are in his POV, that's why I give him the spiky balls. And last but not least, the newest mythic I would say they knocked it out of the park with is the other S tier, Moira. There's so many cool things they did with Moira. There's so many combinations. I don't think she has as many identities as, say, Sigma. But like the orbs having the eye in them, the sounds, the noises she makes, Her voice lines, it's just top tier across the board, dude. It's so good. It's so good. The coalescence when you're finishing it, like you hear the heart going dun 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 dun, like you hear the heartbeat, like that kind of stuff, dude. It hits so hard. And you know one thing, Moira just got an insane one too with the Lilith skin, and like I would argue that this skin is just as good, if not better, than the Lilith skin. And like the Lilith skin set a new bar, right? That was like a new bar for Moira skins, and the Mythic somehow beat it, right? Like it at the same level or beat it, right? In my opinion, like it could be a beat it, could be same level depending on who you are, but it's still so good, right? That it's like, oh, the Lilith one was like a new bar, and then this broke the new bar, right? Like some of these skins, like Tracer has some amazing skins, Hanzo's has some amazing skins, Ana has some amazing skins. Their Mythic didn't set a new bar. Orisa, no shit, didn't set a new bar. Kiri at the time absolutely did. Jogger Queen at the time didn't set a new bar for Mythics, but it was like Jogger Queen didn't have many skins yet, so I would give her the benefit of the doubt and say yes. Genji set a whole new bar for everybody because it was the first Mythic. Sigma was the first skin that I said that had like different identities and is like over time I would say got even better. And then Moira brought it to another level, so I gotta give her S. Between these two, I think it's impossible to say which one's better. If I was to not have a biased view, I would say Moira's better. But unfortunately, the great part about content creation and the fact that you're in my channel is the fact that I get to be biased about shit if I want to. And so I would put Sigma higher because Sigma to me has way more customizations. It's a tank. I get to see it more often. And so you know what? Sigma's better. And there it is. Your Mythics up to season 9 tier list.